The story begins. A young girl awakens to the sound of her phone alarm. She groggily peeks through the blinds and notices a dog engaged in a lively debate with a pile of trash, while its owner struggles to mediate. After brushing her teeth and wiping off a mysterious handprint on the mirror, she heads off to school. Just as she's about to leave, her mom reminds her to take an umbrella in case it rains. However, the girl insists that she'll purchase one from the school lobby. That's when two large cushions embrace her from behind, and she can instantly recognize that it's her friend from these enormous mommy milkers. While chatting, another girl interrupts them and asks them to move aside. The girl pauses for a moment, glaring at Maruko as if she had stolen her boyfriend or something, but then she quickly walks away, muttering, "Never mind." In class, Maruko gazes out the window, observing a tennis ball gracefully twirling in the non-existent wind. However, her teacher's voice interrupts her thoughts. Maro hands her a book and asks her to read aloud to the class, but who really needs reality when there's a mysterious tennis ball? During the break, Maro confides in her friend Hana about eating a lot. Hana reassures her, saying she probably has a good metabolism. However, Maro knows better where all the food goes, and it's definitely not to her brain. Suddenly, Maro gets a strange feeling and looks around. When she turns back, she sees her friend taking a bite and acting like nothing happened. Later, in the bathroom, she hears a thud on the wall from the neighboring stall, making her wonder about the person next door. She hears a hit on the wall from the next bath that got her wondering if the person next door is okay, but when leaving, she notices the bath door is locked. After school, she realizes that the bathroom door is locked. Her friend suggests going shopping later for a new bra because hers has become tighter again. Maruko understands that the issue lies not with the bra itself, but rather with the ongoing battle against puberty. They wave goodbye to each other before heading down separate paths. As she checks her backpack, she notices that her adorable keychain is missing. She retraces her steps back to school, searching high and low for it. In the darkness, she catches a glimpse of a smoky figure, prompting her to turn on the light and take another look. Naturally, there is nothing there. Finally, she spots her keychain beneath the table and kneel. Down for it, she tries hard to get it, and I can tell you the camera guy definitely needs a raise. She finally gets it, but gets that weird feeling again. She checks the lobby, but of course no one's there. It started to rain outside. Maruko started running, searching for a cover till she got to the bus station and tried to squeeze her wet clothes. She texts Hana to make sure she got home. But as she's typing away, her phone decides to have a meltdown and an ugly figure scares the out of her. She stands, frozen after what seems like an eternity. She gathers up the courage to slowly reach for her phone. As she checks her chat with Hana, everything appears to be normal. Perhaps it's the universe's way of telling her that she needs more sleep. She decides to take a break and steps away from the chaos, feeling the heavy silence weighing on her like a brick to the head. Despite the urge to flee, she manages to compose herself and puts on a brave face. She pretends not to notice him and averts her gaze, but deep down she can't shake off the uneasiness. A bulky creature lingers nearby, eagerly anticipating a response from her, hoping she will succumb to fear. However, she remains resilient, refusing to give in until he eventually departs, claiming she cannot see him. Maro, frozen in place due to fear, witnessed it all from the safety of her home. Before going to bed, Maro diligently brushes her teeth, but once again, she notices a mysterious handprint on the mirror, questioning its origin. She wipes it away, then bends down to rinse her mouth, only to be startled by the sudden appearance of another ghost directly behind her. The ghost slaps the mirror. She sees Nick standing in front of her, asking if she can see him. Despite feeling scared, she maintains a poker face and pretends to wash her eyes. She tries to convince herself that it's just her imagination due to stress. However, when she looks up again, Nick is still there, very close behind her. Later, Maruko searches for something and eventually finds a salt packet. In desperate times, she empties the salt into a bowl and places it in front of her room door and wishes that it can keep these things away, even that thing in the bathroom. That stayed for 30 minutes. She jumps into bed and reaches for her phone, ready to Google some DIY exorcism techniques, prayer beads, sure, why not? Then she turns it off and goes to sleep. But she notices that the salt is spilled. She ignores this and goes to sleep anyway. When she woke up, the first thing she did was check under the blanket for any sign of the ghost. To her relief, there was nothing there. Even in the places where she had seen the creature before, there was nothing to be found. Feeling relieved, She happily walked into school, thinking that maybe she had just been stressed the day before. Suddenly, her friend snuck up behind her and gave her a scare. Hana wondered why she had such a strong reaction. Maruko stood up and reassured herself that there was nothing to see. However, out of the corner of her eye, she noticed a shadow passing by the window. Maruko asked her friend if they were on the third floor, but before she could answer, a ghost appeared right in front of them, blocking Hana's face. The ghost greeted them and said good morning, revealing that it was their teacher. Hana couldn't believe her eyes. It was all real. She wondered why the ghost was staring at her so intently, but she kept a straight face until the ghost finally left. That's when Hana asked her friend if they were going to ask her out. Maruko ignored her, thinking to herself that there was no way that would happen. She didn't want to be controlled by these two monsters in the girls' changing room. The girls had been talking about a scary ghost that could hide in the victim's closet, so Hana asked Maruko to open the lock for her because she was afraid. Maruko hesitated at first, knowing about Hana's recent bad luck, but she eventually opened it. To their relief, there was nothing inside. However, when Maruko accidentally looked up, she saw a real ghost head. She tried to keep a straight face and ignore it, hoping that everything would be okay. But Hana couldn't reach her phone and asked Maruko to bring it to her. After hesitating for a while, Maruko finally got it for her. Maruko was internally screaming during class when her friend whispered something she was afraid others would hear. She had forgotten her panties in the changing room and was totally exposed down there. But Maruko instantly shut her down, saying nothing on earth would make her go back there. Okay. Like nothing is going to happen when she's like this anyway. But we all know that something is definitely going to happen. Maruko got a weird feeling from her friend's table, and, as expected, she tried to push it away. Then she took Hana's hand and said she wanted to go to the nurse's office. Hana tried to stop her to figure out what was going on, but when Maruko looked back, she found it was already too late. The ghost was already holding her friend's assets. At the nurse's office, Hana was trying out the nurse's tools to kill time while waiting for her. Maruko couldn't hear her heartbeat, maybe because there was something in the way. What about you, Maruko? I bet I can hear yours clearly. Maruko ignored her joke, found a hand sanitizer, and decided to see if it could do something against the perverted ghost. She sprayed as much of it as she could, making Hana wet, but this only made the ghost start shaking. Maruko thought it was working, but it turned out the ghost was just enjoying himself. Hana came over to hear her heartbeat, with the ghost ready to squeeze her as well, and she actually did it. That's when the nurse came in, and the ghost ran at her without a second thought, while Maruko watched him holding